All right, good morning, YouTube. Good morning, John. We are back at Wiki Up Knoll for our next progress update. This one's a different progress update, though. We're actually not going to stay here on Wiki Up Knoll. We're going somewhere, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. All right, we are arriving. Some of you probably recognize where we are. I know I have some similar viewers. I talked in a previous video about community work groups, and we had the privilege of hosting one of the two groups that we're in recently. And this week we get to go over here and take part in a community work group at another person's house. And the cool thing is about this place, they are also building with Hyper Adobe, and they are also using lime plaster. That's the key. A lot of people around here build with Hyper Adobe, but they don't necessarily do the lime plaster. They use cement-based, stucco, different types of plaster. So we have arrived. We're going to get settled in and take a look around a little bit after we do some work. But maybe when I turn this corner, you'll see where we are. All right, we have arrived. This is our friend's house, Doug and Carrie's place. If you watched their channel, it's called Two Rebels Off Grid. You've seen a lot of this. If you don't, I'll link it in the description below. They are close to us enough that we can drive over here. So we're going to help out today with some other people. They have this amazing tower so far in their build. This is their proof of concept building, like the other things I've showed you. And this is a building made of Hyper Adobe, and it has lime plaster on the outside. So I'll show you more of that later as we get through the day. They also have animals. They have more animals than we do, and they have a new little addition. Hi, puppies. They have two Mama Pyrenees pups, and then they have two baby pups as well. So we love Pyrenees. Hi, puppies. Hi. And they have these, oh my goodness, they're so squeezable. Hi puppies. Hi. So they've got puppies around, which I love. They've got all the things that I love. And then the coolest thing is, just like what we talked about with lime plaster, they have proven this in the concept. They have their dry base down here, then it starts with bags and goes up, and this is lime-based plaster. Not a lot of people around here are doing this type of plaster, but I think it's perfect for our environment. They've got a bottle wall, and Doug has been amazing at doing some artistic relief work. They've tinted their finished lime wash on here and done some amazing railings and just a lot of artistic, creative things. They have little planting boxes built in. And just like our property, none of this was here when they moved here. They started with fencing and have finished their fencing, unlike me. So we're going to be working in here today. I'll show you more of this part later. So excited to be here, learn some, help some, and be a part of our cool local community. All right, our group is here. We're all talking back here. We're learning about what we're doing today. This is the interior functional space around the outside of that beautiful tower that I just showed you earlier. And we're going to be working in here on some cob, kind of a wattle and daub situation technique. He's done something different than I've done. He's collected bottles from all around town and shoved the bottles into some vertical pallets. And then these vertical pallets are then faced with fencing. So we're going to be pushing straw and different, turkey's excited, pushing straw and different things in there to try to fill the cavity there. And then we're going to be cobbing up over it, like wattle and daub plaster cob over the top of these wall sections so that they can have this area. So it'll look, he started over here, and you can see that section he started. So we're going to be working on that today. This is, hi puppy. I think that's Luna. She's a sweet girl. But this is their kind of functional, almost barn space out here. They have their animal paddock over there where the Pyrenees and the goats and everybody runs around. They have a chicken structure over here that they're working on cobbing in the walls. This is kind of an exterior run. They have some new baby chicks and some older ones too that are protected in here. And then we're going to be working on this. This is their functional kind of corridor wrapping around in a circle, a semicircle outside of their hyper adobe tower here. And so it's kind of a barn structure, like I said, but we're going to be working on that. I'll show you some of that as we go. Some of the stuff as we go will be a little different than my normal video format. We're off grid over here as well, and they're going to be using a mixer in order to do some of the cob mixing, and that they're going to be using the generator to power. So they're going to be using a gas generator to power that. So it's a little bit different format from what we do. So I won't be able to share all of the ins and outs of this part, but I'll jump in and show status updates as we go. All right, we're back. I'm going to be working in this section first. You can hear they're mixing down there. Doug is doing the mixer. We do our mixing by hand, so it's a little different mix because it's kind of a wattle and daub cob technique. So this would be your wattle, and then the daub is the actual mud mixture we're putting on. So John's starting, I'm getting ready to do the same thing. We're gonna be shoving straw in here to kind of fill some of the voids so that the cob mixture that we put on here, the daub, will hopefully adhere and stack in a little easier. So I've got my flake of straw, and I'm gonna just start shoving it in there as best I can. So we're gonna do that while we wait for the first mixes of cob to come in, and that was a pretty useless shove in right there. So I'm gonna need both hands. It's a little easier with both hands, as you can see. So I'm gonna keep on doing this, and so is John, and so is Jessica. There's Jessica. Hi, Jessica. And then we're gonna get back to you and show you what that looks like. Okay, I've got my straw flake here. I'm finally making progress. I'm shoving it in gaps here. I figured out how to get it through the fencing a little better. I don't know what was wrong with me up there. So I'm getting some pack in here. John's doing great. He's having like no problems whatsoever. He's like, whatever, I should be doing the cob at our house more often. So we're gonna keep on doing this, and then we'll show you how the cob sticks on it here in a minute. Okay, I got my first bucket of cob, which is here. You guys probably know what that looks like by now. And then I've got the wall pretty much stuffed in the gaps with cob. I'm gonna start here at the bottom. That section over there that my friend Dana's doing is already cobbed along the rock base. And I'm gonna start that here as well. So I'm gonna try to push in some of this extra straw back here. And then anywhere, almost like chinking, I'm gonna stick this cob in gaps.
Stephanie,
right
who are
here.
you talking to?
I'm talking to myself. This is Clay.
No, who's yourself?
It's YouTube. I'm talking to YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
This is Clay and Dana. They're here to help. We're in the group together.
So you stuffed extra straw in
Yeah, so I stuffed extra straw in to try to fill some of the void. And then I'm going to start from the bottom and build up so I can build cob on cob as much as possible. Clay is the most amazing realtor in our area. I'll link him in your description below. He's Desert-Rat Realty right here. This is him. So he's
living the life.
If you're interested in off-grid living like this, playing with mud all day, Clay can set you up with an amazing place to be, for sure. All right, so here I have the first bit of cob smushed in here, as tight as I can get it into those crevices. I'm gonna grab some more, and it's just like I've shown before. You know, it's a good mix when it can kind of stand alone on its side on your hand. Then I'm shoving that into the space. Just there's a gap until it kind of basically it stops, and then I'll stop filling it there. And it's almost down here on this part, making it like a mud mortar in a way, for the rocks, just giving them even more structure. So I'm putting that, let's see, I'll put some here, and then yeah, smooth it out with my hands. I've got these really thick rubber plastic gloves, not plastic or rubber, I think they're nitrile gloves actually. I don't know what I'm talking about there, but that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep going this way, and then once I have a section kind of built up over here, I can start building in to this little gabion basket that he's got right here. We're not going to be covering this gabion basket, which is a fence section full of rock, but we're going to be coming right up to it to smooth it in together on that. So gonna keep working on that. I'll show you how it's looking in a few minutes once I get a little bit more progress moving here, and we'll check on what it looks like in a few. Okay, I've almost come to the bottom of this pallet. This pallet is made with some pretty wide spaces. This is like 3 hands high here. And sometimes cob doesn't want to really stick to a wood surface so well. So this fencing is going to help with that. But also to help with that, I'm going to take some of my mud mixture, some of my cob, and I'm just going to rub it on here and sort of make a smush on the wood, kind of like a slip, and smush it in behind there and make a little grippy place. So then the next layer that I put on here with cob, as this starts to set up a little bit and dry through, you know, probably 20-30 minutes, even just a little bit drier, I can come on with another layer and just build it out slowly for that. If it's more humid, sometimes it'll take a little bit longer to make it kind of dry in there, but we're in a pretty arid, dry climate up here in the high desert. So I'm going to be working on that section, and sometimes you can just take and just put mud on the wall, and that is kind of like a clay slip on the wood part, and that will help it to have something to stick to as well. It just dirties it up sort of, and gives you something to put mud on mud a little better. Okay, I have made it up the wall and past the wood part, and I'm into the bottle and straw section, and I'm kind of bridging up over top of that. So it's coming along. I'm getting up there. So this is the section I'm working on, and it's slowly growing. It's kind of a cob plaster situation. So I'll check back in a little bit and show you what that looks like. John's over here. He is a straw stuffing machine. This particular section didn't have very many bottles in it, so he's really backfilling a lot with the straw to give it some girth back there. And then Jessica is working on this section of the cob. So and the dogs are helping back there with the turkeys and all that. This is the next section we got over here. Hi guys. Hi. Everybody's got their hands in the game, working together. This is a chicken wired section, so it's a little different to stick it on there, and there's bottles in. And we got here. Me too. I love to play with the mud. And then there's Carrie. She's starting with the top, filling the top section along this section of wall. So we've got all sorts of things going on around here. I'm gonna go get another bucket. This guy's helping. All right, we are making progress. Everybody's got their own wall section. There's Cynthia. She's doing the hardest one without any filler in there, so it's kind of harder to get it to sort of stick. So that's why I picked this easy one down here. And then we got Clay and Dana. They're doing this section. They're almost at the top. We're in a race and they're winning. So they're doing it.
I got a tool.
He's got his tools. I've got my dirty hands. Clay's an OG. He knows what he's doing around here. And then we got Jessica's. This is my section. I'm getting there. Jessica's moving along. This is the one that also didn't have very many bottles in it, so she is really trucking a lot of material put in there. She's doing that technique I was talking about a minute where you rough up with dirt. You kind of put a dry clay slip on there so that it'll stick a little better to the wood pieces. So there you go. And then we got these sections we haven't done yet. And then over here, Scarlett. She's in a good, look at this. She's making, it looks like professional plaster there, girl. She's doing great going across there with the chicken wire section. And then Carrie is finished with the top pieces, and she's moved over to this section on the outside over here. Hi Carrie. And she's moving into patchwork from recent rains that we had to fix up and go over. She re-wet it with the hose first, and now she's doing a more finished coat over this section. So that it'll be
where
finished.
the dogs knocked it down. The dogs climb over this.
Yeah, and look how tall. Okay, so here's Carrie, a normal person, and look how tall this fence is above, and their Pyrenees will climb over like it's just like a speed bump. It's crazy. These Pyrenees look enormous, but they are so agile and so crazy curious about what we're doing all around. So, all right, I'm gonna keep cobbing. We'll check back in a few. Final look before lunch. We're getting ready to stop for lunch and maybe for the day. For some of us, we're running low on dirt. It takes a lot. We have made it so far. Each of us has our own sections. John's cobbing. No more mixing, John.
No more mixing. Just cobbing.
This wall's almost done. Jessica's over here. 2/3 up. Well, 3/4. We're gonna call 3/4 up. And then we got these sections. That was the one I was working on earlier. Up to the top. And then Clay's over here and Corinthia back in the back. So we have made major gains. And today Doug's been Sir Mix a lot. That's his everyday around here. And then lots of progress with lots of hands. The puppies have been working hard over here. The new puppies. Hi, puppies.
We're dreaming. We're chasing something.
Were you guys having dreams? So cute. The turkeys are talking. Anyway, so we're making good progress. It's a lot of fun. Dogs helping over here too. A lot of fun to be out here with a lot of people doing all this together. Here is Clay. I wanted to show a close-up. We'll be doing some of this plaster, more like detailed plastering on the barn eventually. Not yet. But he's using a trowel. He's doing it with a tool. So he's loading it out of the bucket and then putting it and smushing it in and then dragging it in one direction once he gets it on the wall. And it makes this nice,
I'm always an
professional
outlaw. Okay,
Yeah.
something different.
He knows what he's doing around here. Clay's got it. And it pushes into the wall. You can see how he shimmies it in. So it's actually pushing all that straw in even more and getting it all bonded together back there. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, we got to sign our name to the wall we complete it.
Yeah, there we
When
go.
it's lime though.
Yeah.
Or nobody will ever see it.
All right, we are getting ready to break for lunch. Here's another look at their really cool, this is actually a chicken coop in the future. Right now, they did just like I did. I built my first building for storage, and then when everything's done, when the house and everything's done, this will be amazing chicken coop with different sections. If you want more details on this, they have their channel. I'll link it in the bottom. It's 2 Rebels Off Grid. And they have different sections in here, different plans for the future. But we won't be going inside it. It's all plastered and finished on the outside. But they did the same technique with hyper adobe bags that I did. And I just wanted to give you a final look at that. Over here is their next build. This is a bathroom, and it is, I'm gonna see if I can get up here where you can see it. It's a clamshell, not a clamshell. It's a shell, a swirly shell shape, which is cool, like a conch shell, I guess. And that what he did, just like we've talked about before, where you want to have a barrier, a separation between native soil and your soil bags. He's built a stone foundation with lime mortar in between all the crevices so that there's a good dry barrier, and he's got quite a grade here, a slope, so it's narrower over here and much higher over there. And then they've got the bag going. This is just, they're at the level where they're no longer using AB. It is just native soil mixture, which we did in our pole barn. You've seen that in the smaller bags. So that is this, it's hard as a rock, and they've started it. He's continuing around, and then they'll do another layer on top. So that is proof of concept for me. And the lime plaster over here on this building is the same type of finishing plaster that I'll be doing. And this plaster is nice. He's got his first coat of wash on here. Carrie and Doug have worked really hard to do that. He's done some neat artistic work. We've not had a whole ton of rain lately, but you can see in the plaster he was showing me where it'll crack sometimes, but once you re-wet it, because it is lime based, it will self-heal, and you can put a new fresh coat of lime wash, which is like basically lime paint, over that, and it'll seal that crack, and you can manage that. So it's beautiful, detailed work, very sculptural, and that is, I don't know that I'll do this on the barn as far as the beautiful sculpture, because I might not be that talented, but the look of the plaster and how hard and sealed it is, this is what we want to do on the outside of the barn to seal it up when it's all said and done. So there are bags in here just like the bags over there, just like the bags that I'm doing for my house and my barn and my patio and all of those things. Super, super neat. All right, we're back. These guys have smelled me. I did touch other dogs. I did. They were cute, but they're not like you guys. They're not. So I'm walking these guys. They're listening. They can hear John in the distance. We got home and found there's some cows wandering around. It's that time of year where we need to get that fencing done. I need to finish that last side on the other side of the property. So I'm working on it. John's chasing cows. I am walking the dogs. We had a wonderful day over at Doug and Carrie's place. 2 Rebels Off Grid. I will link their channel if you're not already following and watching. They do amazing work. Super nice people. Got to see all our good community members, our friends over there, do some more building together and some learning. It's always nice to get together to help each other, but also to learn from each other and just share good lunch, good community, good conversation. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about everywhere. It's about that out here where we're living very rural and pretty remote. You always still can find community and groups to be with and to build each other up and learn from each other. So it was super nice to be able to do that. I hope you enjoyed something a little different, a little off campus today. Not exactly a Wiki Up Knoll update, but it is what we're doing. We do that sometimes. We take time off and get together. So I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you'll join us back here next week for our next update. It will really be here this time, and we will see you on Sunday. Hope you come back and check out what is coming next.